Hi guys, we still at chapter 9 and in this video session we're going to cover two more subtopics which are asset acquisition and also the disposal of asset. Let's look at asset acquisition first. So when it comes to asset acquisition, there are few alternatives that can be employed by a business. They can choose either to buy the asset using cash or undertake a loan, and also usually a famous way for a business to acquire asset is through hire purchase. So kita nak tengok macam mana tax treatment if the business choose to acquire asset by cash. In the case of outright acquisition by cash, CA claim will be based on the full cost of qualifying asset. So, kalau business beli asset bayar pakai cash, business own the asset, therefore business boleh claim CA on the full cost of qualifying asset. But this one we have exception for passenger vehicle. Remember, kalau passenger vehicle kita akan tengok dekat dia punya cost. Lebih 150,000 ataupun kurang daripada 150,000. Ada restrictions on the qualifying cost for passenger vehicle. Okay, so back to acquisition by cash. Company or business yang beli aset melalui pembayaran tunai cash are entitled to claim IA, initial allowance, and AA, annual allowance on the first year. In the year of acquisition, dia boleh claim IA and AA. Lagi satu, company boleh claim annual allowance for each subsequent years. Tahun-tahun ke depan tu, dia boleh claim annual allowance until the full relief is given for the qualifying capital expenditure. Alright, here I provide to you a simple illustration just in case you dah lupa apa yang dah belajar previously. So kita ada satu business, Pinkie Pie, purchase a lorry 58,000 by cash. Okay, beli lori seketul bayar 58,000. So cara kita nak buat pengiraan for capital allowance, since dia beli lori, lori is a commercial vehicle, not a passenger vehicle. Therefore, no restrictions on the cost. Tahun yang dia beli tu, YA 2010, qualifying capital expenditure, QCE, you akan ambil full amount, 58,000, minus initial allowance untuk vehicle, rate for capital allowance adalah 20%. So, 20% untuk initial allowance, also 20% for annual allowance. Therefore, at the end of YA 2010, kita akan dapat dia punya residual expenditure RE of 34,800. Ini untuk tahun yang pertama. Seterusnya, YA 2011, this business, Pinkie Pie, only can claim annual allowance sahaja, 20% daripada cost 58,000. So tolak annual allowance 11,600. Dapatlah dia punya RE 23,200. Dan kita akan buatlah setiap tahun sampailah RE tu dah kosong. Maksudnya dah tak boleh nak claim capital allowance anymore. So here, it is important for you to note that kalau beli aset by cash, dia boleh claim capital allowance, but then initial allowance IA hanya diberi pada tahun pertama sahaja, year of acquisition sahaja. Tahun-tahun seterusnya tu, company hanya boleh claim annual allowance. Okay, so hopefully this illustration brings back some memories masa you dah belajar before this. What happen if the company choose to acquire asset by loan or overdraft? So from tax perspective, even company tu beli aset menggunakan loan, company masih lagi dikira sebagai pemilik aset, own the asset, so dia boleh lagi claim capital allowance. Treatment dia sama macam acquisition by cash, boleh claim IA and AA on the first year, and tahun-tahun seterusnya the company would entitled to claim annual allowance only. Okay, so kalau you tengok, I bagi juga illustration. This one, Rainbow Dash undertake a loan 60,000 to purchase a lorry. So kita buat pengiraan capital allowance YA 2010 QCE, since dia beli commercial vehicle, there is no restriction. QCE ambil je full amount 60,000, tolak IA 20% from 60,000, we got 12,000. Annual allowance also 20%, 12,000 juga. So RE at the end of YA 2010 we have 36,000. We do the same thing for 2011 and 2012 sampailah habis, RE dah tinggal kosong, so dah tak boleh nak claim capital allowance anymore. Kalau tengok dari segi capital allowance computation, there is no different if we acquire asset guna cash ataupun guna loan. But here it is good to note that the obvious difference between these two approach is, kalau guna loan, bila kita buat loan, kita kena bayar interest on loan. So interest on loan ataupun overdraft punya charge will be allowed as a revenue expenses, dan you boleh tolak against business income sebab dia melibatkan business. So dah lah boleh tolak capital allowance, boleh tolak pula interest on loan. Itu je lah beza kalau kita beli aset menggunakan loan. CA boleh claim dan boleh tolak interest on loan. Alright, now we are going to discuss the acquisition through hire purchase. Selalu kan dengar orang beli aset, lepas tu dia guna kaedah sewa beli lah, hire purchase. Okay, so in the case of hire purchase, capital allowance claim will be based on the installment paid and not the qualifying expenditure of the asset. Remember, kalau kita buat hire purchase, kita akan bayar deposit, some portion dah bayar deposit, lepas tu kita ada lagi outstanding loan. Loan tu kita akan bayar secara ansuran, installment. Okay, so bila beli aset menggunakan hire purchase, boleh claim CA, tapi CA tu would be based on the installment paid, bukannya the full amount of you punya asset. Initial allowance IA is given for each new installment. Setiap kali you bayar installment secara bulan-bulan tu, kita akan accumulate kan untuk setahun tu berapa you punya installment, yang tu you boleh dapat initial allowance. AA, annual allowance, will be computed based on the accumulated installment. So ini kiranya different lah treatment berbanding kalau kita beli aset guna cash ataupun loan. Okay, untuk hire purchase, nak buat dia punya pengiraan tu, kita tak tengok cost of the asset, tapi kita akan based on how much installment yang kita dah bayar. Okay, kat bawah tu ada note sikit. The quantum or the amount of CA claim each year is much lesser compared to kalau beli aset guna cash or loan. Okay, and it would take a longer time to fully claim the CA on the qualifying expenditure. So dia kata kalau company beli aset guna hire purchase, boleh claim CA, tapi amount of CA yang claim every year tu akan lebih kecil ataupun sedikit berbanding kalau company beli guna cash or loan. Dan lagi satu, company akan ambil masa yang lebih lama untuk sampai habis fully claim dia punya CA. Mungkin kalau you masih ingat lah, you dah nampak lah how this work. Tapi kalau you dah lupa apa yang dah belajar before this, it is good to go through the illustrations in the next slide. For this illustration, we have Twilight. It purchased a lorry, masih lagi beli lorry, but this time under hire purchase agreement. The cost of the lorry is 58,000. So cost sebiji lorry tu 58,000. Twilight just deposited 28,000. Dia baru bayar deposit 28,000. Therefore ada lagi loan sebanyak 30,000, and this loan 30,000 is payable in 24 month. Kalau kita kira 30,000 bahagi dengan 24 bulan, therefore installment setiap bulan is 1,250, and Twilight is going to start bayar dia punya installment in June. Dan dia bagi tahu juga accounting year end dia punya dia close account on September annually. Okay, so cara kita nak buat CA computation for Twilight ni, untuk first year YA 2010, dia bayar deposit 28,000 plus installment RM1,250 sebulan. Dia start bayar Jun, Julai, Ogos, September. So 4 month untuk 2010. Jadinya 5,000. Kita add 2 tu, deposit campur installment, kita dapat QCE dia 33,000. So here you can see that untuk hire purchase, kita tak boleh nak ambil dia punya amount yang 58,000 tadi tu. Kita kena kira berapa QCE yang layak untuk CA. So tahun yang pertama 33,000, tolak initial allowance 20% daripada 33,000, kita dapat 6,600. Annual allowance 20% from 33,000, kita dapat juga 6,600. So residual expenditure RE pada tahun 2010 kita ada 19,800. Okay, next year tahun 2011 dia bayar lagi installment RM1,250 sebulan times dengan 12 month. So total installment setahun tu kita ada 15,000. Sepatutnya tak boleh kan claim IA, sebab IA sekali je pada tahun kita beli, first year of acquisition. But untuk hire purchase, since dia bayar installment tu setiap tahun, Twilight or this company boleh claim initial allowance based on the new installment. Jadinya untuk tahun 2011 dia boleh tolak initial allowance 20% tapi daripada nilai installment yang baru 15,000, which is kita dapat 3,000 lah initial allowance untuk YA 2011. And untuk annual allowance kita akan ambil accumulated QCE. So kalau kita tengok tahun pertama 2010 QCE dia 33,000 campur dengan QCE pada tahun 2011 installment yang baru tu 33,000 campur dengan 15,000, here we have 48,000. So to calculate annual allowance you have to take 20% times 48,000. You akan dapat annual allowance untuk tahun 2011 sebanyak 9,600. After that baru boleh cari RE. RE for 2011 we have 22,200. So ini pengiraan kalau company beli aset guna hire purchase. It will be a bit complicated as compared to acquisition using cash or loan. Sebabnya kita buat pengiraan of QCE dia tu guna installment. So jadi lebih susah lah sikit berbanding kalau beli cash ataupun loan. Dan beza dia lagi is dia boleh claim initial allowance every year. Kalau loan ataupun cash, initial allowance tu sekali je in the year of purchase. Apart from these three approach, company also can consider to lease the asset. So tak payah beli, no need to acquire the asset, kita lease, kita sewa sahaja. Company is not entitled to claim capital allowance on the lease asset. So kalau company just sewa sahaja asset, nak guna untuk business, company tak boleh claim capital allowance sebab syarat dia to be able to claim CA, you have to be the owner of the asset. But kalau dia lease, company is entitled to claim leasing charge. Kita sewa kan asset tu, so bila sewa kita kena bayar sewa. Lease charge kita panggil dia. Lease charge tu dikira sebagai revenue expenditure dan deductible, allowable. Sebabnya it incurred wholly and exclusively in the productions of income of the company. Dan here kita ada restriction untuk passenger vehicle. Leasing charge you boleh tolak, tapi you boleh tolak up to 50,000 and 100,000 sahaja, bergantung kepada cost of passenger vehicle. By now we have discussed 4 alternatives that a company could consider when they want or when they plan to acquire asset. Dia boleh beli secara tunai, boleh buat loan, boleh guna hire purchase, or last boleh consider untuk sewa sahaja, tak payah beli. In term of tax, sebab kita dekat chapter tax planning, antara 4 alternatif ni, which one is the most advantageous? Which one is the most tax efficient? So kalau tengok dari segi perspektif percukaian, antara 4 cara ni, lease rental adalah paling efficient. The reason why, first kali kita tengok in term of timing, kalau lease rental, full amount of lease rental is given revenue deduction in the year of incurred. You sewa untuk tahun tu, let's say you bayar lease charge selama setahun tu you bayar 50,000 kan. 50,000 tu boleh tolak terus pada tahun tersebut. While kalau kita claim CA need to be spread to various years in accordance with the specific rate. Tadi kita dah buat pengiraan CA yang simple, kita kena guna rate yang sesuai. Kalau motor vehicle, berapa rate dia. Kalau kita beli mesin, ada rate lain. Adalah guna percentage. Lepas tu nak kena spread pula kepada tahun yang pertama, tahun yang kedua, tahun ketiga, tahun keempat sampailah habis full claim kan. Tu antara kebaikan list lah. Sebab list tu benda tu incurred in that year, you boleh terus claim full pada tahun tersebut. Tak perlu pun untuk spread over years ataupun tak perlu nak kena guna rate apa-apa. Kalau list, full leasing charge is deductible. Second reason kenapa lease rental is more tax efficient, kita tengok in term of set off. If let's say business tahun tu ada loss, business has a current year business loss, leasing charge deductible. Boleh tolak kan? So leasing charge akan increase the adjusted loss. Dia akan meningkat ataupun menyebabkan you punya loss tu akan lagi tinggi. Current year business loss, kita akan tolak against aggregate income. So you will end up dapat lower chargeable income. Bila chargeable income lower, your income tax payable pun will be reduced. Yang ni lah yang company nak, bayar tax sikit. Okay, kalau kita nak compare dengan CA, let's say tahun tu kita ada loss. Kita boleh claim capital allowance? Tak boleh kan? Sebab capital allowance tolak against adjusted income. Kalau you tak ada income, you tak boleh claim capital allowance. Jadi kat sini nampaklah kenapa lease rental lebih tax efficient berbanding kalau company beli aset secara cash ataupun loan or hire purchase. Sebabnya lease rental akan menambahkan current year business loss yang menyebabkan income of the company reduce. While CA tak boleh digunakan kalau company pada tahun tu ada loss. The third reason why lease rental would be the most advantageous in terms of taxation because of the utilization. Let's say current year business loss cannot be utilized in that particular year at aggregate income level. Kiranya dekat aggregate income tu, you tak boleh nak tolak current year business loss sebab banyak sangat. Kiranya tak habis guna kan. So, current year business loss tu kita akan carry forward ke tahun depan. Dia akan jadi unabsorbed business loss. Yang ni kita akan set off against any business income in the future years at statutory income level. Unabsorbed business loss, kita akan tolak daripada mana-mana source of income at statutory business level. So, dia akan mengurangkan income of the company as a whole. As compared to capital allowance yang tak utilized this year, kita memang boleh bawa ke tahun depan. Dia akan jadi unabsorbed CA. Tapi unabsorbed CA untuk business one only can be deducted against income of business one. Remember, CA untuk business one tak boleh tolak against income of business two. Dia tak boleh main transfer je. Ni salah satu reason lah kenapa lease rental tu lebih tax efficient. Sebab dia akan menambahkan you punya loss yang tak habis guna, boleh guna tahun depan. Unabsorbed business loss, kita boleh tolak dekat mana-mana sahaja business income. Tapi kalau CA, unabsorbed CA hanya boleh ditolak daripada the same business source. CA untuk business one hanya boleh tolak against income of business one sahaja. So given these three reason, in term of taxation, yang paling efficient untuk company, we would like to suggest is to use lease rental when it comes to asset acquisition. Tak payahlah beli secara, bukan tak payahlah, kita nasihatkan supaya consider untuk sewa sahaja. Sebabnya, sebab tadilah kita dah cerita kan, in term of timing, set off and utilization. Walaupun lease rental tak boleh claim CA, tapi sebenarnya banyak lagi benda yang company boleh save kalau dia guna lease rental. The next subtopic is about disposal of plant and machinery. Tadi kita dah belajar macam mana cara yang terbaik from tax perspective for a company to acquire an asset. So in this subtopic, when a company plans to dispose or sell their asset, so kita nak tengok bila masa yang terbaik untuk dispose plant and machinery yang akan bagi tax advantage for a company. So, bila company decide to dispose its asset or plant and machinery pada tahun disposal, year of disposal, dia dah tak boleh nak claim capital allowance. So, apa yang kita buat bila dia dah nak jual tu, jual the residual expenditure, RE, kita akan compare dengan sales proceed. Berapa harga yang company akan dapat bila dia dispose the asset. Let's say the RE, the value of the asset from tax perspective is bigger than sales proceed. Maksudnya, kalau let's say sekarang asset tu RE dia 50,000, tapi kalau kita jual, kita hanya boleh jual dengan harga 40,000. So logically kita loss lah kan, sebab harga asset kita 50k but sales proceeds is only 40k. So kita dapat loss. Bila dapat loss, kalau taxation, dia akan bagi you balancing allowance, BA. So balancing allowance will be deducted, tolak against adjusted income yang akan menyebabkan your statutory business income will be lower, lagi rendah lah. Sebab konsep balancing allowance ni sama macam capital allowance kan, kita tolak daripada adjusted business income. Kalau kita ada this kind of situation, balancing allowance, we should dispose the asset this year. So boleh ataupun digalakkan untuk jual tahun ni juga. A reason to obtain balancing allowance to shelter adjusted income. So reason kenapa kena jual, bukan kena lah, we are suggesting to the company to dispose the asset now in this year, sebabnya dia akan dapat balancing allowance. So bila balancing allowance ditolak daripada adjusted income, kita akan boleh kurangkan statutory business income, which gonna lead to minimizing our income tax payable. Tu situation yang pertama. Let's look at another situation. A company plans to dispose their asset and now the RE, residual expenditure for the asset, is less than sales proceed. Put it into number supaya senang faham. Let's say RE cost kita of kita punya asset is 30,000, tapi nak jual dengan harga 60,000, dua kali ganda. So kalau kita fikir cost hanyalah 30,000, tapi kita boleh jual dengan harga 60,000, we are going to have a gain, kan, dapat untung. So in term of tax, bila you dapat gain on disposal, dia akan bagi you balancing charge. Balancing charge ni akan di-add back to your adjusted income yang akan menyebabkan your statutory business income will be much higher. Kita akan add BC kan daripada adjusted business income. So bila kita ada this kind of situation, balancing charge, our suggestion is the company should postpone the disposal to the following year. Jangan jual sekarang, hold on, tunggu kejap, sabar, jual lah tak ke bila tahun depan. Sebabnya kita nak defer the tax liability. Bila you ada balancing charge, dia akan add on to your income, which secara generalnya akan menyebabkan income tax payable tu lebih tinggi. So kalau boleh, kita nak hold dulu supaya kita boleh defer tax liability. Lagi satu reason, bila kita hold, tunggu tahun-tahun depan, kita harap RE dia, RE memanglah makin kecil, tapi bila tahun-tahun depan, sales proceed tu pun kita hanya boleh jual dengan harga yang lebih rendah. Dengan harapan kita akan dapat balancing allowance juga yang akan mengurangkan income tax payable. Okay, so basically untuk disposal of plant and machinery, company bila nak dispose, dia kena fikir dulu ataupun dia kena compare dulu RE dengan sales proceed. If RE is bigger than sales proceed, you're going to have balancing allowance. There you go, you are good to dispose your asset now in this year, current year. While on the other hand, if the RE is less than sales proceed, you may want to wait first. Tunggu dulu, sebabnya bila RE kecil berbanding sales proceed, kita akan dapat balancing charge. BC will be added to your income yang akan menyebabkan income you tinggi, income tax payable you pun akan jadi tinggi. So, tunggu kejap, kita nasihatkan dia untuk postpone the disposal to the following year. Here is another thing to consider when a company plan to dispose its plant and machinery. Kita nak kena consider juga tarikh kita acquire the asset. Sebab disposal within 2 years from acquisition date akan ada different treatment. Okay, kalau kita beli aset dan dalam tempoh tak lebih 2 tahun, you dah nak dispose the asset, the tax authority will claw back. Ingat perkataan claw back, dia akan tarik balik all the capital allowance claim in previous year. So, capital allowance yang dia dah bagi awal-awal tu, dia tarik balik, bukan sekadar tarik balik, and dia akan treat it as balancing charge in the year of disposal. Tarik balik capital allowance, lepas tu dia akan add back kepada you punya income sebagai balancing charge. So, benda ni akan menyebabkan your income akan bertambah in the year of disposal, which is not good for a company lah, kan? Okay, so kena beringat untuk company, selain daripada nak kena compare RE and sales proceed, bila nak dispose asset, kena consider juga date of acquisition. Cukup ataupun kurang daripada 2 years from the day of acquisition. So kalau lebih dah 2 tahun, go on, you kena compare RE dengan sales proceed. Tapi kalau belum habis lagi tempoh 2 tahun tu, dia punya iddah tu, kan, kita akan nasihatkan dia supaya tunggu dululah. Sebab kalau dispose within 2 years from the date of acquisition, all the capital allowance previously given will be clawed back and treated as balancing charge. Okay, so ini salah satu cara or suggestion for tax planning. Kita akan suggestkan for a company untuk tengok the timing of sale. Okay, kalau you nak dispose your asset, you tak boleh main jual sahaja, kena tengok timing tu betul ke tak betul kan, bila nak dispose the asset. Lebih 2 tahun, lepas tu tengok pula, kena compare pula RE dengan sales proceed, whether we have BA or balancing charge. Okay, let's go through illustration 5 for subtopic acquisition and disposal of plant and machinery. So here we have a question, tenaga kini, dia adalah manufacturing industries, close account 31st December, and the company is considering to dispose 2 machine. Dia ada 2 machine, A dengan B. Tapi dia tak sure sama ada nak dispose masa 31st December 2016 or on the 2nd of January 2017. And dia bagi details for both machine, ada cost when new, kita ada RE dengan expected disposal price. And ada lagi satu information given, tenaga kini is expected to have adjusted business income 600,000 pada tahun 2016. Okey, dia ada income tahun 2016 and adjusted loss 700,000 in the year of assessment 2017. 2016 ada income, while 2017 dia ada loss 700,000. First part of the question minta you untuk explain from taxation perspective the effect on the business when a company dispose its non-current asset. Okay, so here benda yang you nak kena point out is bila company dispose non-current asset, there will be balancing adjustment. Kita akan buat balancing adjustment and it can be either BA or BC. Kita akan compare RE dengan sales proceed, yang tu adalah balancing adjustment. If RE is bigger than sales proceed, you akan dapat balancing allowance. Balancing allowance akan reduce you punya income, while kalau RE is less than sales proceed, balancing charge will arise and this balancing charge will be added to your income yang akan menyebabkan income you akan jadi lebih tinggi. So ini antara point yang you patut discuss in your answers. For the second part of the question, dia minta untuk advise the company on the appropriate time to dispose machine A and B with the objective of minimizing tax liability. Bila masa terbaik untuk jual machine A and machine B. So kita tengok satu-satu. Untuk machine A, RE dia 200,000 dan expected disposal price 350,000. When we compare these two, kita akan dapat balancing charge sebab sales proceed lebih besar berbanding RE kan. Balancing charge sebanyak 150,000. Therefore, it is not advisable to dispose the machine on 31st December 2016 because there will be balancing charge of 150,000. Dan kita suggest untuk tenaga kini dispose machine A in the next year, sebab company can defer the tax liability, plus tahun depan tu 2017 the company is expected to have adjusted loss. Jadinya kurang lah, walaupun kita add dekat dia punya balancing charge, tapi berkurang lah income dia kan, sebab dia tahun tu dia rugi. On the other hand, for machine B, when we compare RE dengan disposal price, RE we have 800,000, expected disposal price dia nak jual dengan harga 300,000 sahaja. RE is much bigger than expected disposal price. Here kita buat balancing adjustment, kita akan dapat balancing allowance sebanyak 500,000. Therefore, it is recommended to dispose machine B on 31st December 2016, as the balancing allowance will reduce taxable income of the company substantially. The last part of the question, dia bagi tahu yang tenaga kini intends to replace the two machine with new machine. So nak beli a new machines. Explain tax implication if it acquires the new machine under hire purchase or lease the machine. So yang ni dia nak you bagi tahu comparison lah in term of tax implication kalau beli guna hire purchase ataupun we just lease the machine. Okay, so here ada beberapa point yang you perlu highlight in your discussion berkenaan dengan capital allowance, boleh claim ke tak, dan macam mana cara dia punya leasing charge boleh tolak ke tak, and which method yang lebih tax efficient. So I dah bagi suggested answers, you can go through by your own. And kita dah cover kiranya dalam satu soalan ni kita dah cover dua subtopics, acquisition of plant and machinery as well as the disposal of non-current asset. So hopefully you dah dapatlah some ideas on how company can plan dengan cara nak beli aset, cara mana yang lebih tax efficient, dan kalau nak dispose the asset waktu bila yang sesuai supaya company boleh reduce its income tax liability. That's all for this session. Kita jumpa lagi, ada lagi satu parts for chapter 9, and then after that we are done with this chapter. Thank you.